Hello? Can you able to hear me?
I am able to hear. Yes,
Madam,
I am able to hear.
yeah, there is some problem with your audio.
Actually, I am able to hear her.
Then it's okay. Check with the organizer. Okay?
Yeah, madam, now it's okay, yeah.
So we have to wait for another 10 minutes, huh?
Yes, sir. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'll unmute and then come back. Okay. It's sound only.
10 minutes still there.
Okay. Here it is early morning. I'm in US. It's morning 6:15 time, no?
The early morning there. Another session was going on.
Okay. They have to come. So I'll come within 5 minutes.
Okay, ma'am. No problem. Madam, shall we start now?
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to the ISCAR International Symposium on Coastal Agriculture, Transforming Coastal Zone for Sustainable Food and Income Security. This is technical session on theme 2, technological developments in fisheries, livestock and poultry management, water pollution trends and ecological security for coral reefs, farming system modules. Under this theme, we have session 5 on farming system approach, rice cum fish culture and homestead production system, including social forestry. This session will be chaired by Professor C. Jayanti and co-chaired by Dr. D.P. Sinha Babu. Madam Jayanti is a renowned farming system researcher who developed models linking different components suitable to wetland, irrigated, upland, and dryland situations, and incorporated these crop production guide for adoption by farmers. She designed several farming system research methodology for state and national adoption. She has several national and international awards and recognitions in the field of farming system research. Dr. Sinha Babu is having a vast experience, more than 37 years of research, training, extension, and managerial experience on integrated farming systems, specifically on rice fish farming systems, fisheries, aquaculture, and fish reproduction. He has developed 2 rice fish horticulture livestock-based integrated and diversified farming system technologies, models for rain-fed, waterlogged lowlands, and deep water areas. These technologies were accepted and supported by Indian government and provincial government of Odisha and Uttar Pradesh. These models are now being adopted in coastal areas of West Bengal and West Bengal. He is also worked as consultant of RKBY, government of Odisha, funded rice-based integrated farming system project in coastal Odisha while working at ICR National Rice Research Institute, Kotak. He has around 100 publications, including research paper, books, and proceeding chapters and technical bulletins. So, Madam, please take over this session for the presentations.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Good evening to all present for this session. I'm very happy to welcome you all, the invited speakers and other speakers for this session on farming system approach, mainly on rice plus fish culture and homestead production, including social forestry. So you all know the importance of integrated farming system. The present day agriculture, we all know we have to move with a holistic approach. That is, we have to consider whole farm approach. So a lot of research have been done all over India on integrated farming system. Now we are in the process of technology transfer from the lab to land. We have to take this integrated farming system to uplift or increase the livelihood of the small and marginal farm holding. Under this context, this farming system approach is very appropriate, but is very location specific. So here, the coastal ecosystem, we all know it is extreme weather events happen in the coastal ecosystem. So rice and fish culture is the predominant one. Nowadays, we are linking with other livestock and also homestead garden to improve the livelihood of this farmer. So with this brief note, I welcome the first speaker. Before that, co-chairman of this session, and also Dr. Sinha Babu, the senior scientist. He did a lot of work on integrated farming system, mainly for coastal, which is now in adoption in different states, mainly in Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, and also West Bengal. So I invite the co-chair and also rapporteur Ani Poonam. She also did a lot of work on rice plus fish culture. So with this, I invite the first invited speaker, Dr.
Sinha Babu, sir.
Sinha Babu, former principal scientist from National Rice Research Institute, Cuttack, The topic is on development in rice, fish, livestock farming for higher production and income in coastal area. I welcome you, sir, to give your lead talk.
Madam Chairman.
Time you all know, the time allotted is 20 minutes, including
Yes.
discussion. We have to
Yeah.
complete within an hour. So welcome you for the presentation.
Thank you, madam. Should I start sharing?
I can share from my end also.
Okay.
Whatever is comfortable. Your presentation is also with me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have put it.
Yeah,
Let
yes.
me tell you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me be presentation mode. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman and distinguished participants, good evening. And I will be talking about the development in rice fish livestock farming, for higher production and income in the coastal areas. As Madam was telling, this is a very, very, specialized systems, a very, very important systems, particularly for the fragile ecologically coastal ecosystem. I start with the first slide and showing the concern. Why do you go for like this? If you see the global scenario, the population increase is expected to about 41% would be higher in 2050. Whereas the arable land, addition will be there hardly 4%. You see the energy requirement will be more than 11% by 2050. You see the cereal, you see in every decade we need to produce about 235 million tons. And with regard to the meat, it is about 50 million tons. Same is the cereal yield, particularly rice, but rice is about 30% increase. Look to this Indian situation, equally also the same picture. You see the rice and then fruits almost 2.5 million ton annually. Then vegetables about 4.2 million ton. And then if you go to the fish, about 0.6 million ton. And then meats and egg about 0.4 million ton. You see the overall fruit production to increase by 70%, almost double in the developing countries. So addressing the concern, as Chairman was telling, you need to have a shift in the total farming system approach, and something like IFS you need to think of, which can ensure higher productivity, income, without doing any harm to the ecosystem. Well, I go to the resources. If you see in this world level, global level, about 139 million hectares are suitable for rice fish. Those includes the rain-fed lowland, including the coastal, and as well as the irrigated land. See, in India, the picture is about 10 million hectares of rain-fed lowland, and then including 1 million hectares of coastal wetlands. These are suitable for rice fish. Along with that, the irrigated areas, particularly the canal spill areas, about 8.5 million hectares. So, if you see the rice productivity overall, in terms of an average productivity, we see about 3 ton in the world level. Whereas in the rain-fed lowland, the productivity is hardly 1 to 2.5 ton per hectare. Same is in the condition of India. There also the productivity is hardly 1 to even 2 ton per hectare. Well, straightway to go to the rice fish history and development. You see, there are 2 schools. One school thought of that it originated from China about 1700 years ago. The second school thought that it originated from India and then introduced in the Southeast Asia. The importance of the rice fish was recognized first time in 1948 by this FAO Rice Committee. And then gradually, subsequently, that Indo-Pacific Fisheries Council and International Rice Commission, made a program prioritizing this research utility of fish culture in rice field. Well, as a result of that, during 1950s, there was a widespread of rice fish culture across the world. But then during 90s, the development of the Taichung native one from the Semidor mutant genes, that led to the introduction of high-yielding variety IR8 associated with the high chemical use, restricted drastically the spread or the acceptance of the adoption of rice fish for more than a decade, from mid-60s to even mid-70s or later. Then again, during 1980, interest on rice fish renewed globally. And the project like IRIS Asian Farming System Network, led by the World Fish Center now, and then supported also by the Canada IDFC projects that got boosted. Then gradually the relatively safe chemicals and the IPM in rice farming was introduced. Those all supported the adoption of or culture of culture of fish in the rice field. Subsequently, the diversification also happened, along with horticultural crops and the livestock like ducks, chicken, and all sort of things. And by mid-90s, the rice fish was covered in 28 countries under 6 continents. And if you see that, the rice yield also increased about up to 5.1 ton, and the fish yield from ranging from 125 to even 2,500 kg per hectare, particularly in China. The traditional rice fish farming system selected as the globally important agricultural heritage systems by the FAO, UNDP, and Global Environment Facility. This visual shows, the distribution of rice beans. If you see that, this distribution is mainly located in the coastal zone. And the total coverage of the rice fish area in China is the highest, about 1.5 million hectare almost. Well, then, particularly, I'm coming to the coastal ecosystem. You see, the coastal ecosystem, the rice fish particularly is a very century-old practice, traditional practice, in the form of a rice field capture fisheries, particularly in India, Bangladesh, and Vietnam. In India, it was mainly as wild aquacropping in the form of Bhasabandha or Bheri in West Bengal, or prawn filtration techniques in Pokkali, the rice field of Kerala, and the Khajan systems in Goa. In Bangladesh, it was being called as a Gheri or Gher, and in Vietnam, wild fish capture in transplanted rice zones of Mekong Delta practiced for about 200 years. If you see, the productivity level was very low, both for the rice and the fish. In the and Vietnam, little bit of higher yield in the rice, but then the productivity of shrimp and fish is low. These pictures, shows in the first one is how the Bheri looks. This Bheri is in the West Bengal, where the rice fish being cultured, and about 30,000 hectares of coverage was there. And the next picture shows the Pokkali field, and the Pokkali field preparation in the Kerala. And then the last projection shows how the Pokkali rice is being harvested. The Pokkali rice coverage was about 7,100 hectares. Then these traditional systems got improved or modified, with the introduction of the salt-tolerant improved rice practices and selective stocking and management of the sail and fin fish. See that with that improved practice, the productivity of the fish and rice increased. The rice in India, it increased up to 3 tons, and the productivity of fish and shrimp went up to 1,200 kg per hectare. In Pokkali, equally, see the productivity was increased up to more than 2,000 kg of fish and shrimp per hectare, and a rotation crop in the rice field with summer increased profitability with benefit cost ratio about 2.03. Bangladesh also equally the rice productivity increase and fish and prawn productivity increase. In Vietnam, as high as 5.7 tons per hectare of rice and about 2,000 kg of fish and shrimp were achieved. And in the net return in the case of corn, rice, shrimp cycle could be about more than $2,200 US. Philippines also, there are some reports that the tilapia fingerlings being produced in this system with a very high income, about $3,200 US, and as well as this prawn farming also the rice during El Nino and La Nina period. See, there is a variation, but there is a high economic value is there for the system. With regard to the rice plant types, generally the rice varieties in the rice fish system should have the tolerance to major insect and pest and diseases. These varieties or cultivars should have prolonged waterlogged tolerance, as well as the photoperiod sensitivity and steep straw. There are a number of varieties available from irrigated situation to medium lowland to the deeper lowland. In coastal saline areas, these varieties during Kharif season should have the moderate salinity up to 6 DSM. Whereas in the dry season, it should have higher salinity tolerance up to 8 DSM. There are varieties like, in the canning station, in the Amalmana, or in NRRI, there are Luna Savarna, Luna Parial, and then dry season also canning Shavan Mohon, Luna Sankhai, like that. Well, look to the fish. These are the two fish, tilapia and common carp, widely used in the global scenario. because of their omnivorous feeding habit and voracious feeding habit. Indian major crops is suitable, along with Chinese crops is also suitable. There is a fish, silver bar, which is called that is Puntias gonoinatus. That is a vegetation feeding fish, so that is very useful for weed control. The freshwater prawn is also can be cultured in the rice ecology. And these are the two species, magur and anabas. These are mainly insectivorous. These are very useful. In the saline environment, the shrimp and that is Phineas monodon and mullets group of fishes can be cultured. Well, in Asia NRRI Qatar during mid-90s to the first decade of 2010, the research led to the development of two technology and model. One for the rain-fed medium lowland situation, the other for the deep water situation, suitable for also the coastal zone. And these technologies or model were accepted by the NABARD, accepted by the Odisha state line departments, Government of India, and even Uttar Pradesh also accepted, and through NGOs. Even this was taken up in West Bengal, two, three NGOs, and still it is being in practice or being adopted. And I will be coming to that. That Dr. Annie Poonam is sitting here. She is the leader of the project, that it is still being extended in Odisha, coastal Odisha. If you look to this, how it looks, you see, in a 1 hectare farm, if you see the design, that is a small, even there can be a fish nursery. And on the dike, there are food crops. Then in the rice, fish, concurrent cultures, that systems, if you see that, there are 4 tiers. The first tier is meant for growing in a fruit crop orchard. The second tier is for vegetables and tuber crops. The third tier for rain-fed lowland rice. The fourth tier is the deep water rice. And this rice, opens into the pond refuge where fish prawns are there. And on the dikes, there are the livestock systems, particularly this duckery, poultry, and pottery can be also there. Floriculture could be there, plantation crop could be there, and agroforestry. If you see that the first one, rice fish diversified farming system, the productivity level, it is almost 15 times increase in the productivity level compared to this traditional rice in this particular ecology. And if you look at fish and prawn, then flour, honey, fuel, fiber wood, all sort of things, this system provides a nutritious food basket, or you can tell that food security density. And the income is about US dollar 1,380 to 3,500 USD per year. And that, again, looking to the multi-tier rice fish that I was showing, that multi-tier rice fish horticulture livestock-based farming system in the deep water, again, you see this productivity level of almost 14 to 60 ton of this crop, food crop. Then fish and prawn, here the productivity is more because here this pond refuge area is about 20%. The meats, and then animal feed, fuel, fiber, flowers. And if you see the income, net income is about US dollar 2,064 to 4,200 almost. And this is almost about, about more than 10 to 12% increase in the productivity compared to the even global productivity. And the income is about 15 times more than this traditional rice cropping. Here, this is particularly one slide, and I want to show that value addition. This is the freshwater pearl culture. This is also feasible in the system. So you have tried in the National Rice Research Institute. This is the implantation of the pearl, and those pearls are kept in the net and suspended in the water for about 8 to 10 months, and these are harvested. This could be possible under the system. Even ornamental fish culture could also be possible under the system. Well, this is about, I want to show some slides. You see this coastal Odisha and coastal West Bengal, this was extended. And you see the income, net income in this coastal Odisha was about 1,421 to 2,946, and West Bengal also up to 2,483. On the last slide, as I was telling, Madam Annie Poonam is sitting here. She is leading this project. Akibai supported about more than 220 lakhs project being implemented in the coastal area, and the 28 rice fish horticulture livestock farms being developed. This is one among them in the coastal area. And here, particularly, I want to emphasize, this is in Puri district, Brahmagiri. If you see that, this is a rice fish farm developed, but all through, if you see, there is only water. That means there is no crop. So because of this land shaping and farm development, rice could be grown for the first time because of this, this project. Here I wanted to show, how the interactions goes on in the rice fish farming system as a whole. You see, the ducks and fish, they eat, weeds, insect larvae, or all sort of things. And ducks, particularly, is very important, play a very important role in controlling the crabs and snails, which are also very important pests for the rice. And in turn, the fish excreta or the droppings goes as a manure to the system. Prawns also, it sits on algae, debris, crustacean, all sort of things. And then rice environment or rice canopy works as shelter to the prawn during molting. Then if you see the duckerian poultry above that, the droppings goes to the system as manure, to the rice field, and as well as the pond refuse. And the grain bran of the rice is the food for the duck. And then crop, maize, particularly the maize is the food for this, feed for the poultry. Then the vegetables, fruit crops, those are the compost, the recycling of that compost can be used in the rice field and as well as the pond refuse. And in turn, the compost can go to this, crop production also. These are the two slides or the work at Asia and rice. You see this, the rice weed control efficiency. If you see this piece, grass carp, silver barb, common carp, rohu, katla, and mrigal. Of course, the grass carp, it is well known. This is very, weed controlling species, very efficient. But even then, the common carp is efficient. And among our Indian major crops, rohu can also be used as, weed controlling fish in this environment. This slide shows how this by-control of rice major insect pest could be done by the species, and that is how the magur, anabas, or common carp, or even trichogaster, khalisha, those are also can do this importantly work in this pest control, particularly YSB, PPH, or SWAM. This last slide shows how the soil nutrient status under rice fish farming improved during the 5 years. Almost organic carbon we have seen built up goes up to 50% higher, and then total nitrogen almost 30%. Well, this is the slide I wanted to show how this rice fish duck interaction goes on. If you see these visuals, the first visual is how the ducks grazing in the rice field in the early stage, and this is in the later stage. If you see this duck's behavior, particularly this one, you see that the duck is grazing on the rice leaves. That means whatever the paste, leaf feeding, paste and others, those become access to the duck. How it controls. And some of the ducks are digging in the water and controlling the weeds and all sort of things. The yield of fish reported to be higher under rice fish compared to the rice alone. And there are also reports that 20% higher rice yield and 50% more return beside weed and insect control under rice duck system in Bangladesh. 68% less pesticides and 24% chemicals recorded in rice fish farming, as well as the rice fish and rice duck farming are suitable for organic rice production. And there are 65% decrease in pesticide is reported from Mekong Delta, Vietnam, where in the rice fish farm, whereas in rice alone, there is a 40% increase in pesticide use. Fish and ducks can be used as an IPM tool for sustainable rice production, monetary benefit, or nutritional benefit. This slide shows how the water budgeting in the rice fish systems. If you see this total under, 30%, only 13% micro water shade refuse area with 1.5 meter depth, we can harvest up to 1820 meter cube or 140 centimeter of water. And you see the budgeting, about 30 centimeter goes for dry season crops in the field, and then other components 14. And of course, the evaporation loss is the maximum. But even then, you have the 40 centimeter excess water available in the system. And if this refuse is increased up to 20% and 2 meter depth, you can even harvest up to 3,000 meter cube of water. This is the slide shows how the greenhouse gas emission is there in the system, where there are reports from the Asia. But Bangladesh, if it is shown that irrigated system, sometimes it is less or sometimes it is more. The report of Free et al. In China, they have reported about 30% less methane emission under rice fish system. But at National Rice Research Institute, we saw in rainfed situation that methane emission will increase in the rice fish system. And because the theory, the hypothesis is the fish act as a bioturbidizer. Turbidition. It develops bioturbidition, leading to the release of trapped methane. And in the rainfed shallow situation, also we have seen 26% higher methane. And different varieties we have seen, particularly you see with the fish habits, it increases, like common carp is the omnivorous scavenger feeder. That's why the methane increases. whereas the lowest in Mrigal, it's a bottom feeder. But then the nitrous oxide emission goes down under rice fish system from 9 to even 30%. So this is about these things. And the last slide about the benefit of rice fish farming system. You see, we have on an average seen about 10% higher increase in the rice yield, about 7 to 8% increase in the straw yield, and there is 20% almost reductions of cost, because mainly today you can avoid one weeding at least with the rice fish duct systems. And then, of course, there's a reduction in the cost of chemicals. Employment can increase up to 200%. Well, this is the research priority. The first one is, location-specific, cost-effective field design we need to have, efficient water management we need to have. There should be improvement of the culture system, including genotypes, management, improvement of the overall ecology could be there, particularly feeding ecology, and then more synergism. Actually, I was depicting in one slide how synergism is, acting there, how it develops. And then more resource use per se and less pollution. This is often called as a circular agriculture. There should be value addition. I have shown one value addition aspect, but even the value addition like ornamental fish culture, we have seen also it's possible. And then omen impairment. Omen impairment, particularly the fish shit production in the rice ecology, and as well as ornamental fish production. Strategies for adoption, you have to have a survey of resources and guide identification of potential areas and prioritization of areas, on-farm research, and development of location-specific models. There should be training. Through, ICT should be there, farmers' field schools should be there, and provision of supports and land consolidation is very important in the Eastern India particular. There should be credit facilities, input availability, markets, and other infrastructure facilities, and market intelligence. Market is very, very important because you have a food basket they are produced. So that marketing is very important. And then large-scale adoption of technology. Well, this is what I wanted to put as in the probable model, development model, agriculture, aquaculture, livestock probable development model for the coastal areas. You see that the rainwater can be collected by the drainage cuts from both sides. And this water can be recycled, particularly for the saline soil conditions, where you can improve the ecology. There can be a water set where aquaculture could be there. And above the water set, there could be poultry and duckery, there could be agroforestry. And then all this, zone 1, 2, 3, something like that, rice can be grown, whether it is irrigated or fed shallow, fed medium deep or deep water, and then the salt tolerant rice is last. There could be field crop, fruit crops, plantation crops, vegetables along with the rice. And then here, there could be rice fish farms. These are all freshwater rice fish farms. Below that, there could be brackish water rice fish farm. And last to that could be the brackish water pond, and the prawn farming, shrimp farming could be there, or brackish water fish and prawn farming could be there. So like that, if a development module is developed, I think it can really give a boost to the productivity and income in the fragile coastal ecology. I think I go to the last slide. See, these are this waterlogged rice field. Look how sketchy rice population is there, and this sort of system, this sort of rice field can be converted to this system, sort of system for rain-fed waterlogged situation, or to a multi-tier system in deep water situation. And hopefully, as I have told you, this conversion can increase the productivity by about 10 to 12 folds, and then net income up to 15 folds, even with least damage to the environment, and then can ensure the food security by providing a food basket, nutritious food basket, including fish, prawn, and then fruits, vegetables, or even you can have the ornamental crops like flowers or mushrooms, or you can have anything if you feel like that, you can take it. Whether it is a goatry or rabbitry, those sort of things can be taken. Okay, thank you very much for patient sharing of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sinha. Very elaborate and very good presentation you made on the rice plus fish plus duck along with the livestock and horticulture crop. So you have taken it to technology transfer level also. So if there is any question, any discussion, you can have with Dr. Sinha Babu. Shobha. Index. இப்படி வருது. வரல. Okay. So if there is no question, I thank the presenter. And also here, one thing I want to mention here, it's a very good model have been developed and being adopted in coastal ecosystem. So as I said, diversification is very, very important instead of going for monoculture. So in last slide, for future research, he put that is resource recycling. That is quantification is very, very important. How best we can go with the organic farming. Nowadays, we are talking more of organic farming. So an integrated farming system is one of the major tools to go with organic farming. So for this quantification in terms of major nutrients and secondary nutrients is very, very important. We can, data-wise, we can speak more if you have collected the data on residue addition from crop activity, from horticulture crop, agriculture crop, and also in horticulture, you have included vegetables, floriculture, so many crops are diversified. Even one fails, the farmer could be able to get income from the other crop. That quantification is very, very important. You have put it in the future research. Next one is mainly we are concentrating this integrated farming system for small and marginal holding. So how best this can be taken to the similar ecosystem? You are restricting with the Uttar Pradesh and then Orissa, West Bengal. So similar ecosystems are also present. This can be disseminated with slight modification. This technology can be given to other states having the similar ecosystem. One thing, another one is value addition and then marketing. So this, the small farmer cannot, but we have to take steps to have this value addition and marketing. So very good presentation, Doctor. So shall we invite the next speaker? If there are any questions, you can ask also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doctor. So next, Shobha.
Yeah, Madam, next presentation is.
Next presenter is Dr. Sarangi.
Yeah, Madam.
Yeah. The topic is on coastal homestead farming system for enhancing income and nutritional security on smallholder farmers. Here, he's the principal scientist working in ICR Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, Regional Research Center. So he also did a lot of work on this integrated farming system. He has a vast experience in MSS Foundation and also hill farming system, and also rice plus fish in mainly in the salt affected area. That is very, very important aspect. We have to cover that also. So he has a vast experience, a lot of medals and awards from the student life itself, and a lot of publications also. So let us hear from Dr. Sarangi and the coastal homestead farming system for enhanced income and nutrition. That is also very important. In addition to food security, nutrition is also very, very important. We have to move towards that. So let me invite Doctor to present your paper on coastal homestead farming system.
Thank you, Madam, very much. As you mentioned, this is very important, particularly with respect to the coastal agriculture. When we talk of coastal farming systems, we talk in terms of decimals and bighas, not in acres or hectares. As you see in West Bengal, Odisha, and many parts, very small farmers, and these are mostly activities are concentrated in the household area. Most of their food come from these activities. So we have done some work under the Ganges Basin Development Challenges program funded by International Rice Research Institute. And also I will present some of the work from CCARI and some of the work from Bangladesh. When we talk about the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations from 2015 to 2030, three important goals are very much related to agriculture, environment, or agri-aquaculture system. The goal number 2 is end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and sustainable agriculture. So when we talk how to achieve food security and improve nutrition, particularly for the coastal areas, the one thing coming to mind is the homestead production system. How these production systems will help in achieving the food security and nutritional security. And also another goals related to climate change and also conservation of the ecosystem. So the important thing is when we talk about food security, achieving food security, three important things are there. One is harnessing traditional knowledge and practices. These are very much related to the homestead production system. Then increased local self-reliance. Now we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. So for the coastal areas to be Atmanirbhar, we have to have a very good production system, and that can be through the homestead production system, which conserve the natural resources, water and soil, being very close to the dwelling house. Farmers, they conserve water through ponds and also conserve soil because of its presence at the elevation. Then there is a conservation of biodiversity. When we see the homestead production systems, a lot of varieties of crops and medicinal plants, oil seed, pulses, cereals, small millets, these are grown and they are conserved. Then also, of course, the livestock and the different allied activities. So these are the things needed, essential for achieving the food and nutritional security, as well as also reducing the risk. Nowadays, these natural calamities, particularly in coastal areas, these are increasing. And since the homestead areas, they are relatively in the higher elevations, so these are relatively less risk compared to our cultivated areas. And also when we increase the production and productivity, this homestead production systems, that will increase the income stability. And there are a lot of scopes. Always we see the ponds are there, the animal component is there, and also a lot of recycling of resources. This is truly a farming system. So this is very old. This homestead production system is very old. When human being they shifted from hunting and gathering to the civilized life, they started growing crops in the near the dwelling house. Also, our father of the nation, who has a vision of who told that India will be benefited by not by mass production but by production by masses. This is very much relevant now. Since I will show the data how the fragmentation is going on, number of farm holdings is increasing, and also recognizing the importance of this particular farming system. United Nations in 2014 declared as the International Year of Family Farming, and because of its contributions already I have described. So I was talking about the fragmentation of land holding. This data I present this blue bars show the number of operational holdings in millions in India. Particularly, this is a respect to India. In the x-axis, the agricultural census, different years starting from 1970 to 2015-16. You see the number of operational holdings is more than doubled from 1970 to 2015-16. So number of holdings are increasing. At the same time, the average size of holdings is gradually decreasing. That means we are adding more number of homestead farms. That means the number of operational holdings is increasing, and the size of holding, that we are moving towards a homestead farming system. And gradually from 1 hectare now, this is the India average, it will decrease further as the last 50 years data shows. And homestead production system, as I already told, that this encourages the crop diversification. Farmers, they grow a lot of crops in small areas, very, very small areas, but because they know that this is the one way of reducing the risk and providing nutrition. And different millets, they are not only in coastal areas, even in the hill ecosystem also, that you can see a large number of varieties of crops are grown in the homestead area. And I have already told that this is truly an integrated system. These pictures I have shown from the Sundarban South 24 Pargana district where we're working. You go any farmer near his house, you will see a pond and some animals and some fruit crops, and then the fruit trees. So we have just calculated how much area they are allocating to different enterprises. The aquaculture pond is the major here. Around 40 in Bangladesh, around 45% of their land, and in West Bengal in 50% land, because the water is the most important resources. The whole thing revolve around the water resource. All this homestead farming system, not only for crop production, for fish growing, for animal production, everything is required. This water is required. Then comes the vegetable garden. Of course, in West Bengal, relatively higher land area, almost double of Bangladesh. But in case of Bangladesh, the fruit trees are grown in more of areas. So this is the nature of this homestead farming. And if you see the area, whole homestead farming area, it is very, very small. It is 0.14 hectare. In Bangladesh, it is still lower, and in West Bengal, little bit higher the size. So, but this is small in size, but varied roles, and again the salinity also affect the production. If you see this this next graph, this is different salinity levels and this value of annual production. Definitely, whenever there is a high salinity, the value of production goes below the average level. That means a lot of work we need to do to bring at par the value of production in high salinity areas. Different interventions are required, particularly both in Bangladesh and India, to bring up the yield level for particularly for the high salinity affected areas. Then, if you see the whole South Asia, now this lot of pressure on the agricultural land. Already there is fragmentation is there, and this 5% of the world agricultural land, which is in South Asia, it feeds 20% of the global population. So with lesser and lesser land, we have to produce more, and we have to intensify the production system. And particularly the significance of the involvement of women in homestead farming. I have given the comparative data for the two agriculture census, 2010, 2011, and 2015-16. You can see there is an increase in the female operational holdings. I'll give some data in next slides. How the women farmer really they matter in increasing the income of the homestead farming system. You can see this is data from Sundara et al. They have worked under this GBTC program. This data shows whenever there is involvement of women, they have categorized the data into women households and without participation of women. Whenever there is a participation of women, the production increases, the income increases, and also the number of the varieties of crops grown. This particular graph here shows that when there is involvement of women, you can see that 16 to 18 varieties of crops are grown, starting from green vegetables to root crops and spices. So women, they are really very much important in the diversification of crops and increasing the income and production of this production system. And nowadays, whenever we talk about this nutritional security, not only food security, the nutritional security, particularly these poor farming communities, a lot of micronutrient malnutrition is reported. Vitamin A deficiency is there, iron deficiency is there, and globally more than 250 million children in developing countries, they are in the risk of vitamin A deficiency, and more than half of these children are in South Asia. So this is very much essential, that how homestead farming system, how we have to develop, devise the system so that the crops we grow, they provide these calories for then proteins, vitamin B complex, then vitamin C, calcium, and iron. Already we have a lot of crops, and different models are now needed. Some of the models have been developed by the Coastal Agriculture Research Institute. I will show some of these models in later slides. And this is the study from Sundarbans in West Bengal, that pond-based farming system, homestead farming system is practiced here. And we have seen that this pond area, it varies from 8.25 to 74.25 decimal. That means around the average pond area size is 600 square meter, very small, because already the farming holding size is small. And from that small holdings, you can see different villages are there. Again, this report data from our GBDC program, that farmers, they earn around 50,000 to 70,000 in a year from this very small area. This area, this provide their income significantly from around 15 decimal of land area. And we have seen that most of the farmers, more than 80% of the farmers, they have pond of size 8.25 to 16.25 decimals. Around maximum is around 600 to 700 square meter. Then the contribution of homestead farming system to the home consumption and marketing. Presently, we have studied this in 2016, that for the vegetables, fruits, and livestock, more than 70% is consumed by the farm family. Only around 25 to 30% are marketable surplus. But in case of fish, the consumption is 30 to 35% because of higher production, because this is a production pond oriented, the aquaculture oriented production system. So around 30 to 35% are consumed, and rest 60 to 65% are marketed. I think there is a lot of to be done to increase this marketable surplus here, because for marketing there is a lot of problem. I'll explain how this can be solved. These are some of these homestead production models developed by ICAR, Central Coastal Agriculture Research Institute, for very small 500 square meter size to 2000 square meter size. They are very nicely covering these different food crops, then vegetables, spices, medicinal plants, then poultry, mushroom, and vermiculture. Almost all the components are there, but their arrangement and their proportions are different. So I'll show some of these economics of these systems, particularly for 500 square meter, 1000 square meter, and 2000 square meter area. If you see the economics from the starting from the first year, second year onwards, that the increase in the return. Second year and third year it increases, and the fourth year and the fifth year it increases. You can see from the BCR data, benefit cost ratio data. First year relatively there is investment for the establishment of these models, but from the second year the BCR goes very high, more than 3, and goes to 4. Again in the sixth year there is some investment is required in terms of renovation of the system, particularly the pond-based systems. Renovations are required, therefore some investment there. Again the cycle starts. So this these production systems models are very much lucrative for the very small and marginal farmers. And there are now this integrated nutrient management already. This is going on, but we have recently we have seen that particularly this paddy straw mulching and paddy straw recycling is very much essential for the saline soil management. We have studied in case of potato by zero tillage and paddy straw mulching. This paper has been published in Potato Research recently in 2020. How we can reduce the salinity through paddy straw mulching. So we encourage the farmers to go for paddy straw mulching in the saline affected areas because that is the one of the most important way to restrict the salinity and conserve the soil moisture. Very, very important to conserve the soil moisture because once the start of the soil moisture drying starts, the salinity build up through the capillary rise of salts occurs, and that reduces the crop yield. So this very simple but important strategy is required for the farmers who grow crops in the salt affected soils. And this vermicomposting also, we are encouraging the farmers, the byproducts of the crop residues, whatever they are getting through the decomposition, through not only from earthworm, for use of fungal cultures also, they're using this fungal culture and earthworm in the salt affected areas. This vermicomposting can be enhanced, accelerated. Then this nutritious pond concept, because this pond-based system, a lot of that research is going on how to make this very sustainable. We have to feed the system such that the sedimentation and the residues, they should be negligible, because this overflow of the ponds during the high rainfall, that may spoil the ecosystem. So fertilizing the pond, that should be targeted to create the natural foods in the pond. That enhances the natural food creation, and it reduces the sedimentation and byproducts. One of the strategy is these artificial floating islands. Whenever there is a excess of nutrients, these floating islands, some of the paper published in aquaculture report shows that whenever there is a floating islands are there, that absorb the nutrients. And we can see in the Sundarban that some of the farmers, they practice this Ipomea aquatica, locally known as kalmi sag. This is grown in the pond, in small islands. Those crops, they absorb the excess nutrient applied to the pond, and in turn they produce the nutritious vegetables, and they also reduce the nitrogen and phosphorus load in the pond aquaculture system. And there is a integration that needs to be encouraged. Already Sinababu sir very nicely explained the integration of aquaculture with different enterprises, particularly with reference to the homestead production system. This piggery and duckery are very much essential. They need very small area, but they significantly contribute to the household income. Then also this poultry wards also, there are different systems are already there. TNEU already developed these systems, and in South India also this type of systems are going on, where these poultry droppings are used as a feed for the aquaculture practices. Then this another important is the mushroom production in the homestead area, because this area requires very small area, with only few square meter area. The farmers, they can harvest a very good crop of mushrooms in different seasons with scientific interventions. Now this also not only adds nutrition to the farmers, they also provides in short term very good income to the farmers. So these different technologies and these forward and backward linkages are now required for integrating this type of profitable enterprises in the homestead farming system. Then another aspect is protected cultivation. If we go for higher production and income commercialization of the homestead production system, then the protected cultivation, particularly with respect to coastal areas, because the natural calamities are very much there. But if we devise a protected cultivation that regulate the temperature and also precipitations, high value crops like tomato, capsicum, cucumber, then flowers, rose, gerbera, and different spices that can be grown very effectively even under the extreme weather adversities. And they also, these protected cultivations, they avoid the stress situations. Then now this vertical farming and rooftop farming, because these are very small holding, so we have to intensify the activities. Now different in Kerala already this vertical farming system models have been developed. And the right side is a photograph from our project area. We are encouraging the farmers to rooftop and also these different crop combinations that utilize the space effectively. Not only the fruit crops, the trees, then the climbers, then this colocasia and vegetables, and they effectively utilize the land, and there is a intensification of this cropping system. Then agroforestry based homestead farming systems, this under the trees, the fruit crops like the banana, papaya, and different vegetables are grown. This is also very small area, 0.15 hectare. Different vegetables and spices, and particularly tuber crops, the ginger, turmeric, then yam, diascorea, tapioca, and colocasia. These are cell-tolerant crops, and pineapple. They are very much suitable for the intercropping systems, particularly with respect to trees, and coconut also. These systems from the very small area, they can provide income to the tune of $1,000 and also after meeting the home consumption, particularly around 40 to 45% home consumption, this is the extra income the farmers they can get. Now some of the options already I have described the intensification. Now I'll talk about some value addition. Already this madam was talking about the organic production system. Really there is a lot of scope to make this system. Already this is by default very less use of pesticide, because there is a tendency that farmers, they actually grow these crops for their home consumption. There is a tendency that they use very less amount of pesticides and fertilizers. So we can say that this system can be a organic production system, but these are being very small produce, that certification and this value addition, there is a challenge definitely, but there is a scope. So there should be the interventions in terms of linking of the farmers. What our father of the nation was dreaming, that India should be benefited by the production by masses. We have to make it true by different policy measures in terms of linking the farmers, the production formation of farmers producer organizations. This is possible because you can see in the urban areas now this collection of sewage, how from one village, one household to another household, that is collected and it is disposed of. Similarly, I think similar kind of this collections, maybe few kgs from one household, but if we collect it in for the hundreds of farmers, this can be in huge quantity, and this can be labeled, and this can be satisfied, and farmers will get higher prices in one, and another we can give them very good price. So some of these policy measures are very much even essential now to benefit these smallholder farmers. So now I will summarize the challenges and solutions. Already the challenges are this lack of quality seeds. This is a very important challenge for the smallholder farmers. Whatever the seeds they grow, produce, particularly in the salt affected areas, this viability is a question. So good quality seeds providing the farmers, There are some solutions. Again, interventions are required, bringing awareness regarding the source of availability and production of good quality seeds, training and linkages. Then another is the lack of capital to make this system very intensive and production marketing oriented. We have to link this to the credit organization, different government schemes. Still, many government schemes are going on, but these small marginal farmers are not benefited. So a lot of work interventions are required. Then cost of production, how we can help the farmers to reduce. Now the target of doubling of farmers' income is there. So we have to produce more with less cost of production. So technical support of the improved technologies that reduce the cost is required. Then the present production system is low productive. Mostly the farmers, they consume the production, but we have to give the training and scientific interventions that will lead to more marketable surplus, and that specialized production zones should be there that will cater to the need of the higher communities. So this all about my presentation in nutshell.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sarangi, for sharing your valuable experience and rich experience on homestead farming system. If there is any question from the audience, we'll spend about 2 to 3 minutes on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a rich experience, no, on different homestead farming, not only aquaculture. Along with aquaculture, how best we can use the space available for other vegetable floriculture, duck farming, and so on. So here one thing is, every previous presentation and your presentation is value addition and marketing that is needed. So a lot we have done for the past few decades. We are doing research on integrated farming system across the country. So what we need is quantification, that is resource recycling, value addition, and marketing is a must for our future research programs. So with this, let me invite the next speaker, that is Annie Poonam, to talk on the effect of co-cultural system on rice cultivation under coastal lowland in rice, fish, duck farming system. So time given, that is 10 minutes. We'll have including discussion also. So now I invite Poonam to present her rice, fish, duck interaction system. You can start. Is there any problem, Poonam?
Any, please unmute. This is in mute mode. Unmute the speaker,
Poonam?
I think it is in mute mode.
Yeah,
now
yeah,
it's-
okay.
yeah, now it's okay.
No, man, still she's in mute.
Dr. Poonam, please unmute. I think she's. Should I talk to her? Is this? Let me talk to her anyway. Oh no. Dr. Poonam, please unmute it. It is in mute mode. She has unmuted. So, Dr. Sarangi, any problem?
Yeah, sir, we are now.
Any
Solve-
problem?
Maybe, sir, some problem will just sorting out, sir.
It looks to be unmuted, but then what is happening?
You can call and inform her also.
No,
Otherwise,
no, I have called her.
oh, okay.
Talk to her.
Okay, okay. Then it's
She is telling she has unmuted, but then what is the problem? Technical some problem.
Sir, we are sorting it out.
Please see that something is problem. हाँ नहीं बोलो नहीं अच्छा सारे को अनम्यूटेड नहीं नहीं उसका प्लीज अनम्यूटेड प्लीज ऑल अनम्यूटेड unmute this I think but that doesn't Dr. Sarangi
Yes, sir. Just we
he
are
has unmuted but then what is the problem in it?
Maybe her mic is not working.
Huh?
ask her to check the mic. Otherwise, okay, that's.
Madam Annie, please check whether mic is plugged in or not. No.
What is the problem? But it shows that it is not in mute mode.
Madam? Hello, madam. Madam, are you using the laptop? Madam, if you are using the laptop, please unplug your headphone.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
unplug your headphone. Laptop itself has a mic. Madam, please unplug your headphone and just try.
No. You see, you unplug your headphone. Just unplug it.
Madam, just unplug your headphone. If it's desktop, will not work, ma'am. If it's laptop, there was an inbuilt mic, ma'am.
Yeah. Now you start talking.
Madam, just once. You are using a laptop. Please raise your hand. Madam, you using your laptop?
Let me talk. Let me talk.
Okay, no. Okay, you using your desktop.
Oh, I see.
That's why, ma'am, it's not working. Madam, one more thing. You inserting the 3.5 mm jack. That should be the sound jack. In the desktop, there was a mic jack also. Madam, please put your 3.5 mm cord to your mic one, not your sound one. The red one. Red. There was a green, red, two types of button in your desktop, in your CPU, back end of your CPU.
Headphone.
Madam, you just inserting your 3.5 mm jack to the sound bar, sound hole. you just put it in the mic.
ওখানে ব্লক করা ভুল আছে দুটো করতে গেছে
Shall we go with the fourth presentation and then come back to her again?
Yeah.
Co-chair,
yes ma'am, that can be
Huh?
that can be done.
is it okay? Or shall we wait for another few minutes? Co-chair can react.
Yeah.
Is-
Yeah, I think, let me just see still.
Okay, we'll few minutes we'll wait. Okay.
Just 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay. Yes.
Talking others, let me talk to her so that
Okay.
we can go to the other one. Let me talk to her and then she can find out.
Let she prepare for the next presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any, Acha, you please sort out by then Dr. Rautra's tech program we are taking. Is
It's not audible.
हाँ.
Yeah.
कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ है, ठीक है. Let Dr. Rautra continue, by then you sort it out. But and if you have a laptop, I think get it. That would be easy. Okay. Okay, Dr. Jayanka, I think we should continue with Dr. Rautra.
Annie ready or shall we go for fourth?
No, we should go for the fourth, Dr. Rautra. I have talked to her. She will be taking in the last. Please unmute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's invite the fourth speaker, Dr. Rautrai, to present his topic on water budgeting for enhanced productivity in rice fish farming system. He's working as a scientist in Indian Institute of Water Management, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. So, welcome you to present your presentation on water budgeting.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, respected co-chair, and my dear participants. I will be presenting my topic on water budgeting and enhancing water productivity in rice fish farming system. Actually, sir, I want to know whether the earlier presentation is on shared or not.
On shared, sir. Sir, already on shared. Please share your screen.
Yeah, thank you. Water budgeting and enhancing water productivity in lowland rice fish farming system.
You have not shared your screen, sir.
No, it's not shared.
Not shared.
No.
Your screen is not shared.
Okay, I am trying to share.
Sir, first open your this file. Yeah, now it's there. Yes.
Yeah.
Water budgeting and enhancing water productivity in lowland rice fish farming system. low productivity in lowland due to excess water stress in wet season, deficient water stress in dry season. So my objective is efficient water harvesting and efficient farming system for enhancing water productivity. The study sites in 3 locations: in deep lowland of coastal Odisha, intermediate lowland in river valley, lower Brahmaputra river valley of Assam, and the third site, shallow lowland, for the research farm at IIWM Mendasal. The first site is the clay texture, high clay content, 50 to 55% vertical. The second site, it is a silty clay loam texture, inceptisal, and third site, inceptisal also, but the texture is sandy clay loam. And water balance study, del H is equal to R minus I minus S and minus E. Here my objective is to estimate S, the seepage percolation loss in millimeter per day. And del H that was recorded from this graduated scale, which is installed on the farm pond itself, and in rice fish farming system in the pond refuge itself. And seepage percolation loss was estimated from the other parameters: how much rainfall was there, how much irrigation water was there, evaporation, and the remaining amount, that S was estimated. And estimation of consumptive use through standard procedure, reference ET is equal to E pan into pan coefficient, consumptive use is equal to crop coefficient into ET0 by reference ET. For the first site, deep lowland, water depth exceeding 100 centimeter, there is excess water stress in rainy season, but there is no water in the dry season. So rice follows the system, and for that site, we estimated what is the estimated seepage percolation rate from that for that site, and it was found that in November it is only 0.47 millimeter per day. Otherwise, in rice soils, it is about 4 to 5 millimeter per day. Even in some leaky soils, it is 10 millimeter per day. So this seepage percolation loss is very, very low. And that is why it is ideal for rice fish farming system. And if we can harvest good amount of water in rainy season, at the end of rainy season, 2 rice crops can be grown. And because of enough water in the system, the fish will get enough water and it will get the opportunity for interacting with the 2 rice crops instead of normally 1 rice crop. So the fish will get more natural nutrients from the system. It will get enough water for its growth, and fish yield is expected to be high. This is the model: deep water rice in rainy season, dry season rice in dry season or rabi season. Fish is around the year, and in the dike, the crop is grown. And in the system, I estimated the irrigation requirement of dry season rice. Normally, we take only rainy season rice, and here dry season rice, and the water requirement, the irrigation water requirement was only 572 millimeter per hectare, 572 millimeter. So with this irrigation requirement, I calculated that a supporting farm pond of about 45 meter into 40 meter into 3 meter will be enough for meeting the irrigation need. And for a model of 1.18 hectare model, 1 hectare will be rice fish system and 0.18 hectare for supporting farm pond. That will suffice enough water for growing a rice fish culture around the year, rice fish culture. It has potential advantage in terms of high yield in dry season. Normally, the wet season rice is low yielding, 1 to 2 ton per hectare, but because of we are adding a dry season rice, the yield level is 4 to 5 ton per hectare. Fish yield is higher as there is around the year culture, and the fish is interacting with the 2 rice crops in a year, and the dye crops benefit from capillary water, capillary supply, because of a high water content in the pond system. And the second site, intermediate lowland site in a lower Brahmaputra valley, water depth 30 to 60 centimeter, silty clay loam soil. And here our objective is efficient water harvesting so that the second crop can be possible. The second crop can be dry season rice and also other crops if enough water is not harvested. Actually, there is a scope for opportunistic farming in a climate change scenario. The year in which there is enough late season rainfall, then that year we should not be worried. Rather, that water should be harvested, and that will provide a large requirement of dry season rice. In case there is early withdrawal of monsoon and there is not enough water harvested for the second crop, then also we should not be worried. That harvested water can be utilized for two situations, maybe relay cropping, or maybe if water is sufficient, then for a load light duty crop. This is the model: wet season rice and a dry season rice in years when there is enough late season rainfall and there is enough water in the system. And in case there is early withdrawal of monsoon and there is a late monsoon receipt is less, then wet season rice followed by dry season relay crops. Or if there is a moderate amount of water stored in the system, then dry season crops after tillage, that can be possible. So opportunistic cropping based on the available water. This figure shows how the rainfall and water depth in rice field around the year. This part is wet season rice, this part is dry season rice. In wet season rice, there is always high level of water, up to 51 centimeter on 15th August, and slowly that water level came down. Wet season rice was harvested at a ponded depth of 24 centimeter in November end. In the November end, the wet season rice was harvested. At that time, the ponded water level was 24 centimeter. After 1 month, we transplanted the dry season rice, during which time the water level came down to 16 centimeter. And irrigation was provided in 2 times. Once 12 centimeter, another 13 centimeter. So only 25 centimeter irrigation was provided. So water requirement of the dry season rice was 16 centimeter as residual water from the previous kharif crop, 25 centimeter from irrigation, and 47 centimeter from. So my objective is to say that only 880 millimeter or 88 centimeter of water was enough for growing a dry season rice in the rice fish farming system. This is about 25% lower as compared to the normal field in which land was not modified for rice fish system. This is shown here for 3 years mean. It is about 90 centimeter, 89.65 centimeter or 90 centimeter or 900 millimeter for the rice fish system, whereas it is 1200 millimeter for the control plot where rice fish system was not there. So 25% less water was for the dry season crop. Maximum water requirement was 50 centimeter through irrigation. Here I have compared the rice fish system with the control system, and water productivity, it is 0.49 kg per meter cube in the rice fish system and 0.36 for the wet season rice in the control plot, and for dry season rice it is 0.44, average is 0.40. So average water productivity is 0.40 for rice system, rice cropping system within the rice fish farming system. For the rice cropping system, it is 0.4, and for the same rice cropping system under rice fish, it is 0.49. So there is higher water productivity. Physical water productivity for rice crop with control was 0.36 kg per meter cube in kharif season. For a rice crop in the system, it was 0.49 kg per meter cube in the kharif season. When the whole system was considered, the rice yield, peas yield, and vegetable yields, all these components were summed up. Then in that case, we calculated the rice equivalent yield, and water productivity was estimated in terms of kg rice equivalent yield. So it was 1.04 kg rice equivalent yield per meter cube of water, where it was 0.36 for the control plot in Kharif season. That means it was 2.9 times higher in the rice fish system. And the third situation is shallow lowland system, where water depth is less than 30 centimeter. Mishra et al. 2014, they suggested a two-stage rainwater harvesting. And this is a type of rice fish farming system in which rice field is separated from the pond refuge through a wire and a bond. This bond is 20 centimeter high. When the water depth in the rice field is more than 20 centimeter, that will be overflowing through this wire and it will come to the pond refuge. So there is no direct interaction between fish and rice fish, but still it is considered as a rice fish system. Here, this bond is very much essential. Otherwise, because these soils are a little more leaky and the land situation is a midland situation or shallow lowland situation, the seepage percolation rate is high. So if we don't provide this bond here, then the rice field will not accumulate water and rice may face the problem of water deficit during dry spell. So this is an indirect way of rice fish integration, and here they could harvest some water here, they could grow fish here, and the cropping intensity could be increased due to second cropping with the high duty crops in Rabi season. In another trial, we also tried in our Mendasal research farm. The volume of water harvested was 10,000 meter cube. Water depth in the pond was 2.6 meter. This is similar two-stage rainwater harvesting in which there was no direct interaction between rice field and the pond refuge, but it is also a one set of rice fish integration. And here the system water productivity was 0.9 kg per meter cube, which is 2.1 times higher as compared to the rice fallow, the traditional rain-fed situation. My conclusions: seepage percolation rate was very low in vertical of coastal waterlogged soil. That is very ideal for rice fish farming system. The seepage percolation rate is very low, 0.47 to 1.93 millimeter per day. Water harvesting in rice fish system up to 0.9 meter and supplemental irrigation for round the year rice fish culture, two rice crops and around the year fish culture. 1 hectare system with rice fish will require additional 0.18 hectare supplementary farm fund that will be providing irrigation. For intermediate lowland, 25% less water requirement for dry season rice with rice fish system. Water productivity of the rice fish system as a whole was 1.04 kg rice equivalent yield per meter cube, which is 2.9 times higher as compared to rice fallow. For the shallow lowland, it is 0.9 kg rice equivalent yield per meter cube of water, which is 2.1 times higher as compared to rice fallow. Thank you for nice.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your presentation on water budgeting in rice fish farming system in 3 different ecosystems: deep water, shallow water, and dryland ecosystem. And then, because of want of time, shall we go for the presentation of Annie? Poonam, are you ready now? Are you ready? Dr. Annie Poonam, are you ready?
I'm talking to her.
Yeah, okay, still okay. Is there any problem?
I'm talking to her.
Okay.
हाँ यानी कुछ हुआ है कुछ कर रहा है लैपटॉप में क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है लैपटॉप तो ऑटोमेटिक अच्छा वो लिंक जो दिया है ना, लिंक देख के खोलो ना, जो लिंक है ना, हाँ जूम, उसमें जूम है ना, जूम तो है ना। अच्छा ठीक है, ठीक है, तुम एक बार जूम देखे, वो पासवर्ड है देखे, एक बार खोल के देखो। लैपटॉप में एरर क्यों दिखाएगा?
Sir, if there is a problem, she can log in from our mobile.
Yeah.
Hello.
Speak.
No, we are here. Yeah. Just talk. No, I am in phone. I am in phone. You know. Are you hearing? So, hello, any? नहीं, ये तो मैंने फोन में तुमको रिसीव कर रहा हूँ। तो ऐसा करो ना, मोबाइल से लॉगिन हो सकता है उसको? डॉक्टर सारंगी, मोबाइल से स्लाइड हो पाएगा क्या?
Slide, there will be problem, sir. She can speak. She cannot present the slides. On mobile, she can speak. Yeah, now, yes.
Now it is coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall I invite Annie Poonam, Doctor?
Please invite.
Yeah, Dr. Annie Poonam is a scientist from National Rice Research Institute, Cuttack. Her presentation is on rice, fish, duck, effect of co-culture system on rice cultivation under coastal lowland. Now invite Dr. Annie Poonam to present her topic. Doctor?
Still problem or क्या?
Yeah.
I think I will tell one thing.
You
Dr.
can
Sarangi,
present if you have slides, you can, if you are a co-author.
Yeah, Dr. Sarangi, one thing can be done, you know, let her go down with the slide.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then in the phone speaker, she can use, you know. Talking to
Yeah, that's also.
I can talk to her. यानी ऐसा करो, तुम स्लाइड दिखाते चलो, एंड फ्रॉम द फोन you log into that, and this phone में speaker ये करो, go on talking. Okay, phone में yeah, Dr. Sarangi, with the phone, how she can connect?
Same, sir. Just in the phone, if she is having this Gmail, she can open that link provided to her mail.
Okay, let me see.
Phone also Zoom.
Any phone में तो Zoom है क्या?
Yes.
तो Zoom देखे तो you go to the password and address and start the Zoom, and then you then you talk in the phone and show the slides, isn't it? That
Yes.
way it can be done, I think. Yeah. So the technical flaws.
Yeah.
In the mobile, she should have download the Zoom app.
Zoom is there. Zoom is there. I have asked her to open the Zoom,
Yes.
and
yes.
then voice she gives from the mobile, and the slides she shows from here.
Yes, sir.
He has to open otherwise.
Ah.
She's some problem in phone.
She is opening Zoom.
Okay, okay. We'll wait for another few minutes.
Dr. Sarangi, any problem? See, we have crossed the overtime now. Any problem?
No problems. No
Okay,
problem.
okay, fine, fine. Then you can continue. No problem. There is no other station, na?
No, sir.
Okay,
No,
okay,
sir. Already.
fine, fine. Then we can continue. It's no problem.
This is the last session of the day.
Okay, okay.
Then
Then,
it's good to wait for another 5 minutes.
Yeah. So, Madam Chairman, we can sit for some time because it's the last
Okay.
one. No problem.
No problem. Late.
Okay, any speak from the mobile?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on. Yeah.
Okay.
So start your presentation. Okay.
Thank you everybody for patiently waiting for me. There was some technical hitch. I'm extremely sorry for that. So here I'll be presenting my paper, the slides, sticking to the time because already we have wasted so much of time. So the topic title is rice fish duck. Rice fish duck effect of co-culture system on rice cultivation under coastal lowlands. So under the coastal lowlands, we know that there's 6 months the water stagnation is there, and after that the rice only the rice crop is there, and followed by either moon or other nothing, because during the dry season there is not no availability of water is there. So here we can think of the rice fish duck co-culture during the Kharif season, and by shaping the land, we can always conserve the water for the longer period, and we can have the rice, fish, and duck co-culture. So here, rice, fish, duck integrated farming system, if we are talking about, is the most compatible component with the point of view that with the per unit of area, per unit of time, our the productivity doubles, not doubles, but 3 times we get it. So rice, fish, duck integrated farming system has been widely used in China, Japan, and some other Southeast countries like Vietnam and Thailand, and South Asian countries, even in India and Bangladesh. So this system has a strong practical significance, solving the problem of world agriculture, ecology, environmental deteriorations, and land and water pollutions, agriculture product safety, and raise in income from the rice field. So in states like West Bengal, Odisha, Bihar, Jharkhand, and Andhra Pradesh, almost other coastal areas and the northeast states, they have the demand of fish and the animal meat and products, where demand is very high. So to meet the demand and supply, the integration with fish and livestock is very promising and could bring a significant profitability from the unit area, particularly from the small holding of farmers. So in many literature, it has been reported that activity of the duck in the paddy field could bring some positive effect in the rice growth. There's reports that when the duck is included in the integrated in the rice system, there's the positive effect, and there's the increase in the productivity also. So as such, lot of studies have been done in this area, but it is restricted to the descriptive finding. So here, with that objective, we have we have integrated rice, fish, and duck in the lowland system to observe the rice growth and yield characteristics quantitatively, and determine using integration, which is determined by integration of rice, fish, and duck. So thus the materials and method is thus there was a the simulated tanks were made, and 20 numbers of plots were made at an NRRI. And here 5 varieties were taken, because variety is also an important aspect when duck is moving and fish is moving. So the varieties were transplanted along with the fish and duck, and the varieties were also transplanted alone for the comparison. So long duration photosensitive varieties of duration 160 to 150 days, like Varshadhan is 160 days, and Siadhan 500, Siadhan 505, Jayanti Dhan and Jalmani are 150 days. Were taken with the fish and duck, and also were transplanted alone. And then fingerlings of the major calves were stocked 10 days after the transplanting, with the required number of fish as per 1,000 stocking density of 1,000 fingerlings per hectare. Then 4 months old ducks were also allowed to move in the rice plot at the rate of 200 ducks per hectare under enclosure to protect the duck from the predator, with the putting up the net so that we can divide them into different treatments. So here the time management is that there's a lot of time. There's a question that when to include which. So that's after the raising of the seedlings and transplanting is over, after the 10 days of the transplanting is gone and the rice crop has settled in the field, then we release the fingerlings as per the required rate. And after the fingerlings are released, then after 10 days of release of the fingerlings, we release the duck. At a time, if we do, then at a time when the transplanting is done, and if we release the ducks, then they can spoil the seedlings, and they can have the fingerlings, or they can have the fingerlings as their feed also. So when the flowering is there, there is a withdrawal of duck, but here we will be talking about how the withdrawal is not needed. So this are the results. So here there's 5 number of varieties has been taken, and under the RFG, we can see that because of some nutrients and addition of nutrients to the duck and the fish, there's a rise in the height, and there's a higher plant height has been observed as compared to the rice alone. And then the grain yield, the higher grain yield was observed with the Siadhan 505, which has a stout and very stiff straw, and is not, it doesn't lodge. But here, if we say the Jalmani, this has a little shorter stature, and this is prone to lodging. So here, that's under the rice fish duck, this Siadhan 505 has given the significantly higher grain yield, followed by the Varshadhan, and then the Siadhan 500. So the higher, similarly higher rice equivalent yield was observed with the rice fish duck under the Siadhan 500 and rice variety Siadhan 505. So increase over the percentage of increase over the yield was higher with the Jalmani and the Varshadhan. And the least was because there was no effect of the rice fish duck. It was under both the conditions it gives at par yield. So here the repartition of phytoplankton and zooplankton. The phytoplankton was higher with the rice fish duck and lower with the rice alone. Similarly, with the zooplankton, here rotiferous was highest with the rice fish duck and higher than the rice alone. But under the rice, it has been observed that throughout the growing season, the population of the zooplankton and the phytoplankton is almost the uniform. But under the rice fish duck, as the higher number of zooplankton and phytoplankton has been observed during the September and October after the rain is ceased. So when we do the inclusion of the duck in the system, so wheat biomass, there is a effect on the wheat biomass also, and it is very useful in controlling the wheat. So these are the 12 varieties or 12 major species of weeds are observed in the rice and rice fish duck during the wet season. And this is duck mostly fed on the broadleaf weeds, and the grassy weeds here was controlled by the food rampage. So here we can see that in the rice alone crop, there's the dry weight is higher, and this and under the rice fish duck, it has been controlled by the duck. So here relative density of the major weed flora under the rice is the relative density of Ludwigia octavilis was highest, 17%, followed by the Spirodella polyriza, 14%. And rest of the and this density was controlled by the inclusion of duck. So here then 2 sets of duck at the rate of 200 ducks per hectare were subjected to 2 diets, that is the total feed, and then the feed plus up to the 6 weeks, and then second set was second set of ducks were left in the rice field at 6 weeks of age. Then at harvesting the age of duck, there was no significant difference in the body weight of both the set of ducks with different feed. So on the basis of the profit per kg live weight of the duck, it can be said that the grazing duck in the rice field has higher economic efficiency over the control, reducing on the cost of feed and wheat. So my conclusion will be the rice variety which are tall and lodging resistant like CR Dhan 505 is most suitable for rice, fish and duck system with a significantly higher grain yield of 6.76 tons per hectare. Whereas Jalmani, which is of the shorter stature, is prone to lodging, and because it's a shorter stature, it is also prone to grazing by the duck at the harvest. The integration of rice fish duck gave 35.7% higher grain yield over the rice alone, with higher weed control efficiency and less incidence of pest. The net profit per capita with the integration of rice, fish, and duck farming was 30.6% higher over the rice alone. And with the time restriction, I end here my presentation. Thank you very much for patience hearing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Annie Poonam, for the in-depth study you made on rice plus fish plus duck system in the coastal areas. So we all know about the plankton development and all, but you have quantified what is the zooplankton and phytoplankton development, and also the weed overall flora, how it can be reduced when it go with rice plus fish plus duck, and also the total density of weed growth. So very good information on rice plus fish plus duck system in coastal area. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions? Shall we conclude?
Yeah.
A presentation. So finally, I congratulate all the 4 presenters, 2 invited presentation and 2 oral presentation made by the scientist. And then the first presentation, Dr. Sinha Babu on rice plus fish plus livestock product system, where there is an increased productivity and overall income. He has shown different kind of vegetable, how best it can be linked to improve the small and marginal farmers for getting higher income. Second presentation is by Dr. Sarangi on homestead production for enhanced production, not only for total production and also for nutritional security. We have quoted lots of examples, including allied enterprises like along with the rice and fish, homestead gardening, which includes mushroom cultivation, beekeeping, and then vegetable gardening, floriculture, and so on. And then third presentation is by Dr. Rautrai, which is very important, water budgeting in lowland. So people think if you go with fish culture, the water requirement will be more. But he quantified how efficiently water can be used in the three different systems: deep water, dry land, and also for the shallow water system. And then two, that is throughout the year, we can go with this rice plus fish farming by having a farm pond in the system. And then quantified also water productivity in terms of physical water productivity and economic water productivity. That is very, very important in terms of scientific data. We have to create when we talk on water productivity, when you go with the rice and the fish culture system. And then finally, the Annie Poonam also, she has been in-depth study on the rice, fish, and duck system, how best this system can go with improving the or reducing the wheat population. That is very, very important. So more than 60% of the yield loss is because of weeds. So when you link the allied enterprises, how best the wheat density can be controlled was studied for the rice plus fish plus duck system, and also plankton. So when you go with fish cultivation, if there is an overproduction of plankton, that will affect the growth of the fish and all. But she has studied the plankton development, how phytoplankton and zooplankton is very important for the, that is a major food for the fishes. So by this, we can know what level we can have the density of fishes and all, and also the what is the total quantity of ducks can be reared in the 1 hectare farm area. So all the 4 presentation was very good. So normally the what we will do as a crop production scientist, so we'll go with only the productivity level. But integrated farming system have higher, not only the stable productivity, and although the stable and steady income is there. Not only the one that is once in a year, everyday income will be there by linking of different allied activities along with the crop activity, and nutritional security. That is very, very important. That is possible only through integrated farming system. And also economic security, overall livelihood security is possible through integrated farming system, is proven through lots of research, and your all 4 papers also proven all the securities like food security, income security, nutritional security, and livelihood security is possible only through integrated farming system. So what we have to do in future, so lots of research, already I told, lots of research have been taken. Mostly we go with bottom to top approach, because real problem of the farmer is taken in farming system, and that problem we are working for the solution. Then lacking is the technology transfer to the similar agroclimatic area. Whatever done in one area should be shared with the other people, and also the overall income. Initially, small and marginal holding is very, very important. We have to concentrate more. So what to do with the end product? So value addition to fetch a higher income for the farmer, and also marketing. So small quantity they are producing, where they will go for marketing. So we have to concentrate. For that, what we have to do is we have to link the other team of people. That is multidisciplinary approach. So other allied scientists has to link along with us, like food scientists, economists, and then veterinary people should go along with the crop production scientists. We have to put more effort on the multidisciplinary approach for doing this integrated farming system research. So these are all my view about the presentation and on the topic on rice plus fish farming system in coastal areas. Now I invite co-chair to give his views on the presentation and overall this session. Doctor?
Myself?
Yeah, co-chair.
Okay, thank you, madam. You see, very nicely you have covered the whole thing. Only thing, today everything being talked in terms of climate change. And we have to emphasize and tell, the rice fish, the integrated farming system is a climate smart technology. it's a rich management technology. That respect, it has its sole role. And then whatever the chairman was telling, the on-farm, adoption is very, very important. I have been seeing that the only thing is in the integrated farming system is the initial investment, the capital cost. So that makes some problem for the farmers to go for, land shaping and then changing the whole thing with initial involvement of cost and others. But then there are a lot of schemes available. Just you have to dovetail with them. You have to take the advantage of the many, there are a lot of schemes, whether it is a waterlogged renovation schemes, whether it is MNREGA is there, or farm pond schemes, so many schemes are there. So if there is a convergence, and from there, if the capital cost is managed, so I think things will be very, very good. It's an opportunity for the farmers to go for that. Even say, take it from the Bengal itself, there is a scheme, Jal Bharo, Jal Dharo. Same program can be converged with this rice-based integrated farming system. Same in the Odisha, there is a farm pond concept. So that can be also dovetailed with that, and the farmers get support and all sort of things. One slide I was showing in the Brahmagiri Puri district, it's a transformation. Once you go to the landscape, and in fact, I am the consultant with Dr. Annie Punam in that project. What we did is, see, in the landscaping, because it's a highly waterlogged area, so we put some of the topsoil in the rice field, and then convert this unproductive rice field into a confinement rice suitable area. And naturally, in the whole area where rice cannot be grown or rice was not grown, for the first time the farmers could realize that in the farming system, we could grow the rice. So this is a big impact. So if you can go for landscaping, there are a lot of advantages with that. And whatever of course, the homestead farming very nicely covered by Dr. Saringi. This is a very good, thinking about your small and marginal farms. And then as Madam was telling, Dr. Raudras, yes, very right. People will first talk, when you go for anybody will talk that when you take rice fish, there is a tremendous utilization of requirement of water. But then what he was telling, but that we have to see it. It is in Lower Brahmaputra Valley, and as well as we are seeing in this Puri district soil, where the groundwater is very shallow. But then we have to think of when you go to the other ecosystems and others, what is it happening? So those sort of budgeting, those sort of critical study is very required. With regard to the Dr. Annie Punam's slide, one important thing came out, see, duck after flowering, you have to withdraw the duck. Because the grains after flowering, whether it's a milk stage, a duck stage, that comes, as access to the food for the ducks. But there are certain varieties, stiff-strawed varieties, that's why I was telling, that if it is so, you can also rear the duck still after the flowering stage of the crop. And then what I was saying, that duckweed interaction and then plankton. Plankton is a very important component, as Madam was telling. So those part of is very, very important. And then the chairman was telling about the quantification. It's a very difficult job, very tough job, because in situ, you don't know how much fish is contributing, how much duck is contributing. Well, you can measure that from a standalone system and then measure that and see. But the indirect point would be at least the carbon sequestration or the improvement in the soil state and nutrient status. One slide I was showing it's that the organic carbon increased to almost 50% after 5 years of integrated farming system, or total nitrogen also increases. But that's a very good topic to think of. How could you quantify the nutrient flow and all sort of things? Anyway, overall, this is very, very good, very informative, and I congratulate all the speakers, and I thank Madam Chairman for very nicely organizing the whole thing. Thank you very much.
I, on behalf of the Indian Society of Coastal Agriculture Research, ISCAR, profusely thank our chairman, Madam.
Before that, I conclude one more thing.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So here, to conclude, our future agriculture and present agriculture depends on diversification. Yeah. That is possible through integrated farming system. So we have to go with our research, youngster, I'm telling, on integrated, that is holistic approach. So with this, I conclude my presentation. I thank you all presenters. And then Dr. Punam, can you take the note of it and finally you give your proceedings? Okay.
Yes,
on
madam, I have
behalf of
taken the note.
the session as a rapporteur. Okay.
Yes.
Good luck for all of you, for the youngsters, to go on with your integrated farming system research. Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Madam,
Dr. Sarangi, okay.
I, on behalf of ISCAR, profusely thank Chairman Madam Dr. Jayanti and Co-Chairman Dr. D.P. Sinha Babu. Very patiently and very nicely they have conducted this session. I thank also all the speakers for their contribution towards the integrated farming system research in general and coastal agriculture in particular. Thank you all, and we expect that our participants will attend other sessions tomorrow, that is on 17th March under different sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.